systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope everybody's start to the day is going well. We got 7 games on tap. No weather to talk about. We did have a starting pitcher scratch and Chase Burns, who is definitely going to get some ownership. But yeah, I think a pretty solid slate. Not too many high run totals. None above 5.3 with the Dodgers right now. You can see Jose Soriano, Jacob deGrom, Joe Ryan kind of in a tier of their own in terms of pitching, but we'll go through it all. Talk pitchers, talk stacks, all of that good stuff. I'm in for Nate's talk with my man, Matt, and I'm going to be throwing it to Matt, and I have to give him a compliment to start 2 times now. I didn't chirp the last one. I caught myself because you owned me with Sandy prior, but Brian Bello, what a great call on Friday. I know you didn't really get to it. It was very, very tough to. I don't know if it was 1% or whatever it was, but only projected for like 7.5 and definitely had a great score. I don't know what he finished with, 17, maybe something like that, but awesome call there. And I'm excited to see if you have any more hidden gems. So how you doing today? Anything you want to say about that?
I appreciate it. The Bayo call, yeah, he was good. Didn't even have to throw that many pitches and just kind of mowed Cleveland down, which was, again, encouraging to see. Been much better after an opener. So we'll see if that's a trend that continues and if the people still aren't really aware of it next slate, because that might be something we can lean back into. I'm good. A little bittersweet today because obviously the Myles Garrett trade, as a Cleveland fan, felt like it was a long time coming for him going, but doesn't feel any better. I'm a huge Jared Verse guy, but only getting 1 first-round pick back in a deal for Garrett seems kind of minimosky. You know what I mean? Like, feel like you had to get more, especially with the Rams picking towards the end of every round they're going to be in most likely. But yeah, that has kind of dominated my news feed for the past 2 hours. I'm excited to step away from it and talk some MLB.
To be honest, I thought you guys got more than I expected. The reason for that is it just feels like it feels like all of these deals in the NFL are just all right, this pretty good player for a 4th round pick or like a 4th and 5th round pick. It just always feels so skewed. And I know salary cap, and there's a lot more that goes into stuff than just name versus name. But
I guess I would follow that up. Like, how do you view Garrett? Because people around here view him as like the best defensive player of this generation, at least.
I mean, I think could be up there for sure. Like, I think he is up there. I think there's a lot of him when Micah Parsons, Aaron Donald when he was back there. I guess I probably view Jared Verse better than maybe you do.
I like Verse too. No, I like Verse a lot too. That's why I'm like happy with the compensation. I think my mind might be skewed a little bit because of how much people around here wanted back for him. Like the at least 3 first-round picks with a player like Verse. That was never going to happen. Honestly, I never really thought that a team dealing for Myles Garrett would want to come off a guy like Verse or a Will Anderson. I thought that if they were making a move like that, they would want to keep that guy. So I'm with you. Like, I do think that really, like, he's worth more than 1 first-round pick. So you really have to take that into consideration. Like, he's proven to be, he's not Myles Garrett, but after him, he's one of the best DNs in football. So I don't disagree with you. Like, I think the compensation was fair, especially after hearing what you had to say. Maybe my mind was a little bit skewed just by hearing months of talk in terms of how much people thought we were going to get back. The one guy I would say people around here would put on Myles Garrett's level over the past however many years is Aaron Donald. Like, even Parsons, while people totally think he's amazing, he'd be a step below.
Yeah, and I to be honest, I do agree with it. I have Garrett 1. I think Aaron Donald was the most impactful defensive player probably since I've been born. I think Myles Garrett is up there. It just feels like teams you don't get what you view as to be equal for that. So getting a first round, and it sounds like a 2 and a 3, but getting a player like Verse that you can at least step in and be an impactful player in the defensive line with those picks. Like, if they capitalize on those picks, again, it does stink that it's probably near the back, but You guys got more than to be honest, and I expect most of these teams. What are the Micah Parsons? I know the salary is big, but we gave up Kenny Clark and then some dust. Like it was like, and I feel like that's how a lot of the trades go right there. So,
some people around here think that the Packers gave up more for Parsons than we got for Garrett because of the 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. I would obviously disagree because I think Kenny Clark was a great player for a long time, but much older at that point than the Browns are getting in Jared Verse, who's just coming into his own. And I see we get a comment Verse is not one of the best DNs in football. Could be, but long ways to go. Like, I don't know about that. I'm not saying he's like the best. There are obviously a few guys clearly better than him, but I think he's top 10.
He's 25. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, Kenny Clark's 30. Like that's a big difference right there.
Garrett is 30. Like that's exactly. Good point.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be too. I mean, I would be sad losing Defensive Player of the Year, one of the best to do it, is sad. But it felt like I heard about these talks for a while every offseason about Myles Garrett. Something has to change in Cleveland. Like, and I think you guys got back.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think I would have been happy. I'd be happy at least getting a player that I deem to be pretty good, probably better than pretty good, and then some picks with 1 first. But I agree. It just people. They hold on to those first-round picks really tightly. That's for sure.
They do. Last thing I'll say on it, loaded draft next year too. So to get 1 extra first-round pick in that draft is huge for a team that is most likely looking for a QB. And taking it like 1 step farther, and I'm not in the locker room, so I don't know. As great as Myles Garrett was and is, the Browns won 8 games over the past 2 years.
Exactly.
And he was never a leader off the field. Like the Browns always had locker room problems, culture problems. He was always, if he was in the news for not great stuff, like, I don't hate this as a Browns fan. That's all I'll say. It's bittersweet, though, because Garrett was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, 8 wins in 2 years or whatever. Like, they just haven't been relevant for – and that's not his fault. I mean, you got to figure out the quarterback position. It stems from up top. I mean, getting rid of Baker maybe way back in the day, that doesn't look great right now. But, yeah, awful. You got cycling through quarterbacks left and right. But, yeah, I'm excited to – NFL, I mean, I'm in the best ball streets already. I'm so super pumped. It's June 1st. I'm already thinking about NFL. It'll be here before we know it, but it is good to see some trades popping up. Got to say hi to people in chat. We got Sean Sullivan, Ricky, Lone Wolf, Gangrene, Taco Todd, Juice, Beat, William, Arch, Metro, what's going on, NY, Mr. Riken, Pop Stoner, Colin, great to see you. Hope you're doing well. Jake's in here like always. Pop Stoner again. Lone Wolf. I think I said hi to everybody. All we ask is the like button and subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. Did you pull this up or was it delayed on mine? No, you didn't pull it up.
I'm happy for the trade as a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
I mean, the AFC North should be ecstatic that Garrett is gone. I mean, his verse is great, but like Garrett this
different
year,
level.
I mean, different level. Like he's a different level from everyone. He's amazing. Like you could make the argument he's the best defensive player ever. You really could.
Yeah, I think I'd probably put Max Crosby 2 right now. With Parsons coming off his ACL, I'd probably go Crosby 2.
Hutchinson's up there too.
He is, but man, Max Crosby.
Will Anderson.
Will for sure. I think Will Anderson would be 3 for me right now. I mean, Crosby's played on that bum team, gets doubled every single time. The motor on that guy is football instincts, just batting passes down. I love watching Max Crosby play for sure.
That is one more thing I'll say about Garrett, because someone earlier mentioned like maybe he's a system player. I'm not buying that. Think about him setting the sack record on a team that was like losing the majority of time. Like imagine him on a Rams team that's
they don't throw.
Winning. Exactly. His numbers could be amazing in LA this year. It'll be a sight to be seen for sure. Yeah,
it most definitely will. Giannis to the Thunder. I hope not. I don't think so, but I do think Giannis is probably gone. I just don't think.
That's another hot Cleveland rumor. Mobley for Giannis all over here. I don't think that's happening either, but the Giannis talks are big around here as well.
I think Giannis is gone from everything I'm hearing over here, but what do the Bucks get from in return is the big question. My favorite right now would be Jaylen Brown and some pieces there, but we'll see. I think that is everyone that I've said hi to. Appreciate again everyone hanging out. Like button, subscribe button helps us out a ton. That's all we ask for. We're talking some 7 games MLB. Any broad slate overview for you, Matt, before we dive into it?
Yeah, I mean, pretty big in that like the best pitcher on the slate, Burns, is now off the slate because It wasn't a deep pitching slate to begin with. And not only do you take him away, but it puts the Kansas City offense like firmly in play. So about as big a slate changer as you can get for one guy being scratched. One guy in baseball usually doesn't matter that much, even a starting pitcher. But when it's the best pitcher on the slate, a top, I don't know. Right now, Burns is a top like 5 DFS pitcher, honestly. Like, I'm not sure I can name 5 guys better than him right now in DFS. So to scratch him on a small slate, big time. That's the slate overview for me.
Absolutely. I think my slate overview, I kind of said it from the top, but it's just sorting by projection. 3 guys projected above 18, then you get almost a 2-point drop to Emerson Hancock, which I do think it's some ownership, as you can see here, but I think it's pretty condensed. Let me just sort by pitching and ownership. I mean, we have 5 guys above 20%, and after that, it's pretty much irrelevant. So I do think it's pretty concentrated at pitching. I think bats will be relatively spread out when we get to it. I think spend up pitching will be popular, though, double spend pairing. And then this Kansas City will get some ownership, I think, because of the value they offer on the slate to go with some double spend pitching there. So, please do not send Chet to Milwaukee. I think I've seen everything I needed to see with Chet in that last series to not want him for Giannis. I'll just say that.
I was going to say, though, you did say Jaylen Brown. Like, would you rather like a package with Brown over Evan Mobley?
I'd take Jaylen Brown for sure.
Okay, Mobley. Just because he's better right now? Like,
I mean,
far away. Like, what are you doing with Jaylen Brown, though? Like,
what are you doing with Evan Mobley, though?
Well,
I don't think young.
This guy. That's fair.
He's also a toothpick. He's a little better than Chet, but you're not going anywhere with him.
He's a great. I mean, I feel like you are dismissing Chet too much, and then certainly Mobley. Like, those guys are really good defenders. Wemby's going to make anyone look small, and Mobley had a really good playoffs. Like,
Chet's a mental midget. That's all I had to see. He didn't even compete. I mean, you at least compete out there. Like, try. Like, that dude was lost on the court. I get the Wemby stuff, but that dude was. I'd rather Mobley than Chet. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what the answer is for Milwaukee. Dylan Harper, like, they're not going to get him, but someone like 22 years old that just has that potential. Jaylen Brown or. What's his nuts?
You're gonna be so upset no matter what they bring back for Giannis.
Yeah,
I can tell. Like, no matter what.
To be honest, I'm already happy. We won a title with Giannis.
That's all you can ask for.
He changed the city of Milwaukee. I want him to go and win all the championships since we won't.
Yeah, all right, bittersweet how it's ended. We'll hop in.
MLB. All right, you guys are here for MLB. We're gonna talk some MLB. We'll jump right in to pitching. We will sort by salary, and we will talk. I'm gonna include Emmett Sheehan in this because he is one that is getting over 20% that we're talking about here. So all of the pitchers, there's no one below 7.8K that's getting any ownership. So I'm going to group in Sheehan at 7.8K all the way up to what probably is the chalkiest pitcher on the slate in Jose Soriano in a great matchup at 9-7 against Colorado. Break down these 7 pitchers in this top range.
Yeah, so I think that the 3 top guys are in pretty clearly a class of their own. Soriano started off the season amazing, obviously, has come back down to earth, but gets, about as good a matchup as you can ask for at home against the Rockies. He's expensive, and he's going to be highly owned. Like, saying that out loud, thinking about something me and you talked about last week, the lucky guesses lineup, being contrarian in MLB, it makes you automatically think of the Colorado stack. And
he almost did it again. I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you
he's been up there a bunch in like the higher dollar stuff too. Like, a bunch recently.
And they had no ownership in that team too. I think it was on our show last Friday.
Yeah, same. And then
the Rockies. We talked about that. You needed Tovar.
Yes,
Tovar's
right.
walk-off. Yeah.
Good call. Tovar homered in the 8th and the 9th. 41.
Wild.
So, I know, insane. So like, it makes you think of the Rockies. And I don't think Soriano is so good where you can't use bats against him, and he's going to be overowned because he looks like, him and Ryan look like probably the safest guys on the slate. On paper, it's hard not to like Soriano here. He's pretty easy to fit. A lot to like there. DeGrom, for my money, is still the best overall pitcher on this slate, but doesn't have the length that some of these other guys and hasn't been good on the road. Like, straight up, has been much better at home. I'm not completely buying that, but I'm buying it enough to give me some hesitation. And then you have Joe Ryan, who weirdly enough left to start like 4 or 5 starts ago, his velocity and all his numbers were really down in the start after that, but he's just been phenomenal. So it seems like that was kind of just a glitch in the matrix. I don't even know what happened. He's been great. Gets a White Sox lineup without Murakami. It's those three guys and then everyone else. You talk about Hancock gets the ballpark, but he's not on the same caliber of those three guys. His underlying stuff isn't as good as his actual stuff. So he's in play because there just isn't a lot to like on this slate, but not someone I'm excited about. Sheehan has the arm talent. Don't love the matchup against Arizona coming out of Seattle. We know they've been better. Aside from this past series, they've been better recently. So I would probably play Sheehan over Hancock because I think the ceiling's higher, but wouldn't argue if you said Hancock's floor is higher. Landon Rauch seems too expensive for this matchup. I think he's just a contrarian play off of Soriano, DeGrom, and Ryan. He's good enough where, like, I don't hate it, but projection-wise, it's going to be really hard to get to him. Patrick, no. After that, is it just Erod? Erod's, I don't know. I'm not buying it. Or no, is it not Erod? Erod's not even getting love, but did I miss anyone?
No. I mean, I guess, are you going to play, might as well talk about, are you going to play any Erod or any of these guys priced below him? Like, if you want a 5-man stack, the Dodgers with one of Joe Ryan, like maybe, but you don't even need to. Like, you can cut it off at Sheehan, which, to be honest, I'm going to do. And I'm just going to kind of eat somewhat of the chalky stuff. And then if I'm pairing Soriano DeGrom, have to get a little different with bats. Is there anyone below? Like, I can't play Erod against the Dodgers and these guys down below. The pitch count concerns, as you can see with most of them. The arm talent is a lot worse than these top 4 guys. So are you going to play anyone, mix and match anyone down below?
It would be Erod, honestly. I doubt I'd do it. But there you get the leverage against one of, if not the highest on stack on the board, and he's been good. And again, you look at the underlying stuff, and I'm not buying it. He's due for some regression, so that probably keeps me off of him, honestly. But like, he's a known commodity. We know who he is. If he has his good stuff tonight, like, I don't think the Dodgers stack is gonna go off. If he doesn't, and he puts guys on base, obviously the Dodgers stack has a massive ceiling, which is why they're getting ownership. But I feel like he's too talented in general to be like the stack against him, even though it's the Dodgers to be the highest on stack on the slate and him to get no ownership. But doesn't mean I'm going to play him. I'm more with you than against you. That I don't think I'm going to play anyone down here. I guess McGreevy, who stinks but is cheap and faces Texas at home. So maybe it's McGreevy, if anyone.
All right. I won't argue. So I think it'd be, I'm going to X out, kind of show, like, if you are a member over at Chip Nation, you have a SaberSim package, which I'll get to that in a second. This is kind of what I would do. So I have a filter up right now to show pitchers with my projection greater than 5. And we're going to cross off or X out everyone that we had no interest in there. And no Chad Patrick. I would keep Landon Rope in the player pool, just in the sense if he's like a pivot, right, from DeGrom and Soriano will be way higher. You mentioned it. He's a complete pivot. Joe Ryan will be higher owned. And then if you go cheaper, Hancock will be higher owned. Sheehan will be higher owned. So he's just in that complete dead range where he looks overpriced. I don't love the matchup against Milwaukee, but they're only implied for 4.2 runs. And on this slate, if he gets you 17, I think that'll be good at 15%. So, and yeah, I guess I don't hate your McGreevy call. Pitching at home, I'm not too worried about that Texas lineup. And he's 6.5K. So he's a lot cheaper than the rest of these guys if you are trying to get on a different roster build. So this is how my pitching pool would look. I have DeGrom 1. I know it hasn't been as great from the past couple starts, but I'm looking at these names. Like, I know Soriano's been better. He has a better matchup. DeGrom's the best pitcher on this slate. I'm just going to buy into the talent and have him number 1 personally. After that, I think it's pretty close with a couple of these other guys. I would not have any strong take.
Yeah, I feel like the reason you can't take Rop out of the pool is just because the slate's not deep enough, right? Because if Soriano, DeGrom, like two of and Ryan, if one or two of those guys like don't pitch well, which isn't like a crazy take because it's MLB, then like, you know what I mean? Routes 16, 17 points might be all you need there. So if you're hand building, it's really hard to get to him. But if I'm playing 150, he's definitely in the pool because he makes for a really, really like easy way to make your lineup different, you know?
I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but since we have our pitching pool up, if you had to pick two teams to stack against these chalkier options, and I'm going to say we'll go Hancock, Ryan, DeGrom, Soriano. And again, we're going to go game by game and talk bats. I know you mentioned a little Colorado. Like, if you had to pick two to stack against these top four highest owned pitchers on the slate, which teams would you pick?
I feel like they all have merit. I don't have like a strong take. Like Colorado's the worst offense, but I think provides easily the highest leverage because Soriano will be the highest owned. The same token, DeGrom will also be high owned, and St. Louis is better than Colorado. White Sox, probably my least. It's tough, man. Like, honestly, given DeGrom's road troubles, maybe St. Louis.
All right.
But I'm also with you that he's, at the end of the day, my favorite pitcher on the slate just because I'll buy the talent as well. So, yeah.
I think I'd go the White Sox. Do I love it? No. But we'll go, again, you don't have to play any of them, of course. But if you are trying to get the most direct leverage, I thought that was interesting. But this is kind of what the pitching pool would look like. I probably would start off by going DeGrom, minimum 50% exposure since he is my favorite. I want to get overweight. And then from there, I would run it. And then obviously mess with stack exposure. SaberSim makes it very easy to dial in exactly what you want. All right, let me go out of that. Let's go share. Actually, I'm going to share this screen quick. This is our homepage over here at Shippin' Nation. As you can see right at the top, we have a deal going on. Usually $99 for the all-access package. Get you SaberSim, get you Discord, get you access to all of the sports above. For the first month, you can get in for $49. Great deal. Obviously, NBA, the finals are going on. Showdown, Little Neck does a phenomenal job. Projections, ownership. Massive contest for game one on Wednesday. Super pumped for that. PGA always going on. Great. Actually, not the best event this week, but prizes are always good. Showdown content. Best ownership in the industry. Projections are money. Shout out to our great PGA team. MLB, of course. MMA in full force like it is pretty much every week. We got it this Saturday. NASCAR on Sunday. And NHL, the finals, also coming up. Very excited for that. If you want to join us for a little cheaper to give us, like you haven't tried us and you don't want to pay $49 right away, if you go to Join the Nation for 5 days, you can get in for $19. Also includes all of these sports above, includes Discord, and includes SaberSim. Also want to show off really quick. We had someone mention it earlier. This is a new piece of our content over here, the Slate Station. So we have, as you can see, everything above. This is automated from our pitcher rankings, from our hitter rankings, from our stack rankings. This is all came into one, and like this had Chase Burns in it, and it automatically gets updated throughout. Now you can see right here, I'm only sharing this for today. It's a premium piece of content, obviously. The pitcher rankings, everything's right here. Projection, the ownership, the matchup, the stack rankings right here with a blurb, the hitter rankings, and it does have little tags next to it. Yesterday, Aranda was a home run tag. First inning, absolutely bombed. You can sort it by catching, first base, second base. You can see all the rankings right there. It's just a one-stop shop. Everything used to be on multiple different tabs. The value plays right here. Weather, we have no weather to worry about on the slate, but every single game it talks about, and then the breakdown of the slate. And again, so right now, these cores above, this will be, so Matt, when he puts his core in later, when I put my DK cash core, it'll say title DK cash, and this will be my cash core. Whoever's on it for the day, whether it's Matt, Nate, Tam, you name it, this will then be their core. But this is updated throughout the day, and then these cores will get updated. You can see FanDuel for the early slates, night slates, just for our pitcher rankings, our stack rankings, all of that. FanDuel, you can see the same right here with the core report and cash. So very, very excited for this. Again, it gets updated throughout. You can see the timestamp in the top right. So we just got everything in one place. We also have everything on the stone, which we're about to go share right now and go game by game. Let's go to 7:10 Eastern, where the slate does start with the Kansas City Royals and the Cincinnati Reds. We have Luander Avila on the mound for the Royals, and then I think it looks like a bullpen game. It's Lyon Richardson, because it's supposed to be Chase Burns. Richardson will be starting, and then I think it's going to be a bullpen game from there since he has not been extended very much. Reds do have one of the higher run totals on the slate. The Royals have come up a bit since Chase Burns did get scratched. And I think because, again, we're not really showing it with ownership, but because one player is priced above 4K, that's Bobby Witt, and everyone else 3.5K or below in this lineup. If you do want to play some Dodgers big bats, if you do want to double spend at pitching, which will be the chalky route, I do think some of these Royals get ownership, especially like a Carter Jensen leading off at catcher, only 3.3K. I think they're fillers, and I, to be honest, think the Royals are higher owned than what they're showing right here. So the Reds going to get some ownership as well, good in the hitter rankings, one of the highest run totals on the slate. So I think right away, Great American Small Park, I think both sides get some ownership. What do you see?
Yeah, that gets me hesitant. We talked a little bit before the show. I like Kansas City here. I mean, they're a team I've played probably too much of. They didn't have a great series in Texas, but it seemed like they started to get going late. Obviously, when Burns was scheduled to pitch, he was probably the best pitcher on the slate. He was definitely the best DFS option on the slate. You take him out, you put in a guy in Ryan Richardson and then a bullpen that you're not excited about, and the Royals all of a sudden look good. I'm not sure about their ownership because while they are cheap, it's not like they're cheap with good hitters or guys that people want to play. I mean, the Royals stink outside of Bobby Witt. Like, they've had an awful year. They have one of the worst records in baseball. I know we don't care, but that doesn't matter for DFS, but part of the reason their record is so bad is because they can't hit. So trust me, I know better than anyone how bad they've been, and I like them here. But it's tough to play a team like Kansas City into ownership. So that ownership worries me. I do think that they're probably projected for higher ownership just because, like, Witt is going to get love. He's not that expensive, and he's the best shortstop play on the slate. So that's probably pulling up, like, the entire Royals lineup as a whole. But to your point, they're really cheap with expensive pitching that people are going to roster and expensive stacks, especially the Dodgers. So I don't want them to be chalky because I like them, but I'm afraid you're right, my friend.
Yeah, it just really comes down to you plug in Soriano and DeGrom or Ryan or whatever it may be. All right, now we need some value. 3.3K catcher leading off. Vinny P in the 3-hole, 3.5K. Caglione in the cleanup spot, 3K. Collins, 2.7. Lane Thomas, 2.2. Yeah, like 7, 8, 9 aren't going to get ownership. Maybe Lane Thomas doesn't get too much. But then Bobby Witt, the best shortstop on the slate, like you said, no Ellie. He's on the IL. You have the best shortstop, and then you have complete free pieces at a catcher position, a first base position, and then some outfielders there. I just think it fits too well where it does get too much ownership just because we don't have cheap pitching people want to play. So I am worried about the Royals being overowned. I think the Reds are very good on the slate, though. They're not too expensive. Again, they are showing ownership. I think some of the Reds ownership comes down a little bit. They are going to be chalky, don't get me wrong. But I don't think they're going to be as chalky as what we're showing right here. I'm definitely good playing Matt McClain in the 9-hole at second base, a onesie position. You can use him as a wraparound to get to the top of the order. Do you have a lean between Sal Stewart and Eugenio Suarez if you had to pick? Both only third base, so you only can play one.
That stinks. Not really. If I were I guess Stewart just because of the stolen base upside as well. But if I were stacking them, I'd want to get to both in like different variations.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm worried about this Royals ownership. I do prefer the Reds. Again, they're going to be chalkier, but I mean, rightfully so. They have a 5.3 total versus the 3.8. What's up, Nades? Good to see you. Yeah, so the AJ Brown, first round 2028 and a fifth round 2027, I believe, is what I just saw for AJ Brown going to the Patriots. We did expect that for a couple weeks, so I'm excited to see that it came to fruition. Got some Drake May. AJ Brown stacks. Devontae Smith is looking good, so NFL cannot be here soon enough. Super, super pumped. And yeah, that's a good call with Edwin Arroyo in the 8 spots for the Reds, only min price at 2K. So you got Bobby Witt.
He was raking in the minors.
Okay, that's great information. So yeah, you can go. I mean, man, that makes me even like these Stevenson. I mean, you can even go all the way up to the 6th spot. First base, second base, Steer. Stevenson catcher. Shortstop Arroyo. McClain second. Only 2 outfield spots in the 1 and 2. Like talking about position eligibility and a way to stack, like the Reds are one of the easier teams to do so with so many different options. So I like the Reds, one of my favorites on the slate. We'll keep it rolling. Next game is the Twins and the White Sox. David Sandlin and Joe Ryan on the mound. Don't think this game gets too much ownership, which we were showing on both sides. I'm not too familiar with the Sandlin character, so you can talk about him a little bit. Joe Ryan is going to get some ownership. I talked about if I had to stack against one, it probably would be the White Sox. But, man, this lineup just looks completely different without Murakami in there. Colson Montgomery, I do think, is a pretty elite one-off. I think Benintendi is solid as well. You definitely want lefties against Joe Ryan versus righties. And the White Sox did a good job putting 6 of 9 hitters in their lineup on the left side of the plate. But it's definitely hard to five, man. I think mini stacks make some sense, though, and more so in the middle of that order. What do you see in this game?
Yeah, so Sandlin is making his second start. He made his first start last time out, obviously, against the same Twins team. Gave up a leadoff homer to Buxton and then went 6 no-hit innings after that. So interesting to see. He was 4K on that slate and was in play then. I still don't think he threw a ton of pitches, so I'm not sure what to expect there. Now that he's more expensive, obviously we didn't even talk about him. I think you could look at the Twins just because now Sandlin making his second start. You know, these things fluctuate. Baseball's weird. He was really good last time out. Maybe he's not so good tonight. Hard for me to want to plant my flag on the Twins, but I think they're definitely in play as a secondary stack, if nothing else. And then the White Sox, they're in play as a secondary stack, I think, is a leverage stack. Talked about them a little bit earlier. No Murakami stings, but they got Jacob Gonzalez called up now, who another guy just absolutely raking in the minors so far this season. 19 homers, 8 steals. He's in the big leagues now. So things are different. But, man, you talk about that type of upside in the middle of a lineup that's going to be unowned. I'm interested.
If you had to pick him or – because that's 2 min-price shortstops that we're talking. Which one? Him. Obviously, if you're playing him, all right.
Yeah, because I feel like Arroyo hitting 8th at home in a stack that's going to be more popular. If I'm just one-offing one of them, give me Gonzalez. If I'm stacking the Reds, give me Arroyo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. That's a very good answer to that question. And yeah, that's just Bobby Witt will be one of the more popular shortstops if you want to completely flip builds. And again, popular in MLB, Bobby Witt could be 23%. That's popular in this sport versus other sports. But if you want to flip the build and get different, if you're not trying to 5-man stack Royals or play any Royals, punt shortstop with one of these Reds or the White Sox guys, and that definitely opens up some salary relief right there. All right, keep it rolling. Next game on the slate. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. All we ask is the like button and subscribe button. It helps us out a ton, bringing you shows on this channel pretty much every single day. The Brew Crew and the Giants, Chad Patrick, Landon Rope on the mound. The Brewers have an okay run total in this one. Landon Rope definitely keeps the ball on the ground, though. He does get hit more from the left side of the plate. The Brewers obviously do have some lefties, though. Yelich, just seeing a projected order right now. Yeah, not seeing anything confirmed, but Yelich, Turang, Bowers, Mitchell. Again, 7 of the 9 for the Brewers batting from the left side of the plate. Hamilton's they got some stolen base upside at the bottom of the order. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I definitely prefer the Brewers to the Giants, though. I do not plan on playing too many Giants myself. What are you doing in this game?
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, honestly. I understand why you have that take. I think that would be the Fields take, is that the Brewers are a better stack here than the Giants. Talking it out, they're clearly a better offense, and they run. So I get that. I also respect Landon Raup enough where I'm not going out of my way to stack against him. Giants struggled in cores until they put up 80 runs yesterday. I don't think Patrick's that good. I don't love the Giants here, but I don't really love the Brewers. I put them on similar tiers, especially because Milwaukee is so expensive. They're the most expensive stack on the slate. So I always get stacking them because they run. Top of their lineup's good, but I just don't know. if I personally can get there tonight, outside of like mini stacks with the Royals, I guess, because they're so cheap.
Yeah, man. So if you're playing 4 teams, you think you're gonna have like at least one. I doubt you have a 5-man Giants, but like you're gonna get to mini stacks for these Giants?
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah,
I mean, I was just kind of making the case that I think they look similar to the Brewers, but
way less ownership.
Like they don't look good though at all.
Yeah.
I don't think Patrick is that good. So like I don't think they're a crazy stack. If you told me at the end of the night the Giants were on the winners, it's not like they're going against Miz. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, man, talk about Miz. What a freaking monster.
He's as good as it gets, bro. Like I can't remember. I mean, he's like there's few pitchers I can remember being this dominant.
Yeah, it's very, now that he got his control under him, he's nasty for sure. All right, we'll keep it rolling to the next game on the slate. Texas Rangers and St. Louis Cardinals. Jacob deGrom, Michael McGreevy on the mound. You talked about it. I mean, deGrom's going to be second highest owned pitcher. He's only number 7 in our pitcher rankings, which at ownership would look pretty bad. He hasn't been great the past couple starts, has struggled on the road, but he gets his Cardinals team that I enjoy picking on, and pitching's relatively weak on this slate. But I guess, would you rather pick on deGrom or Soriano? It sounded like you'd rather pick on deGrom.
Well,
go ahead.
That's a loaded question because I'd rather pick on Soriano than deGrom if everything else was equal, but it's not because Colorado, in my opinion, isn't nearly as good as St. Louis. So when you factor that in, like, yeah, I think picking on deGrom is just as viable as picking on Soriano. Also, ownership matters there too, right? Do you think
I think it'll be pretty close.
Same. I agree. So like I think all things are about equal there. I think St. Louis and Colorado look pretty comparable today. Do you disagree with that?
No, I think that's a fair take. Just looking at run totals, St. Louis a little higher than the Rockies. Ownership's very low on both. I guess maybe I'd rather go the Cardinals since it does feel like they have more pop in their lineup. Like playing the Rockies away from home is just something I almost never do on this slate. So I think I'd rather the Cardinals, but I don't really like either. I think I really like deGrom, and then even a bad Soriano game, I would rather just one off a guy in the Rockies or something and just hope they play. I don't know, like they're singling their way on, they're making them work, get the pitch count up, they're walking, getting a little lucky that way instead of like the Rockies putting up 11 and burying Soriano. I think it'd be just more so they make them work. A couple other pitchers outscore them. Whereas I'd be less surprised if the Cardinals, I guess, got after deGrom and put up a crooked number than I would the Rockies. So I'd rather stack the Cardinals, even though deGrom's my favorite pitcher on the slate.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing to factor in there, like, and I didn't even say this, Soriano is likely to be much higher owned than even deGrom. So that does put Colorado like back into the picture for me. At the end of the day, I would rather stack St. Louis as well, but I do think it's like Soriano is the guy that people start with, and then it's Ryan or deGrom. Do you disagree with that, or do you think it's like mostly that?
I think it's so what we have right now is Soriano 45%, deGrom 35%. I think both we have under-owned or lower than what they're going to come in. I think Soriano probably comes in around 54 and deGrom 51 or something. I'm seeing. I think they're going to be really, really close. And I mean that 500 price decrease. Yeah, I still am going to say Soriano just by a little bit, but I do think that it gets more concentrated up at the top. And I actually could see. Let's see what we have Joe Ryan at quick. 34%. Like, yeah, I think he's the one. He maybe stays around 34, but I think we see Soriano and deGrom separate a little more than projections right now, and then you do get not a distant third in deGrom or in Joe Ryan, but I do think you get a little ownership discount, and Soriano deGrom comes in as the chalk pairing. But I think it's pretty close between them. You don't need to. Yeah, it's a 7-game slate, so getting direct leverage off of the chalkiest pitcher makes more sense in my opinion on a 7-game slate than like a 12 or 13 game slate, especially when there's no team implied for over 5.4 runs. So if the Cardinals put up 7 today and they do it through the long ball, I mean, you can get a good amount of leverage on the field. Who would be some of your favorite Cardinals bats if you did that? And then talk about the Rangers side too.
Burleson, Weatherholt, top of the lineup guys with power, speed. I guess thinking about it, like going back to our guy Lucky Guesses, if he's making one lineup tonight, it's definitely either a Rockies or Cardinal stack with Erod, in my opinion.
Probably.
Like,
I mean,
it's a Rockies stack with Erod. Like, so like, you know, again, it's MLB, and a lot of times you're going to lose when you play stuff like that. But when it works out, you're just fighting such a, you know, smaller battle to get up to the top of the mountain that, you know, that's why you see it work. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm not going to stack either of them because I'm likely to play Soriano and DeGrom. But man, I am concerned about DeGrom's road struggles, at least a little bit. I play DeGrom a lot, pretty much every start. You just look at the splits, like, and I'm not really a splits guy, but averaging 25.5 fantasy points at home, 12 on the road. He's got one good start on the road. It came against the Dodgers. So we know that, like, this is not a thing for him in the past. I don't think it's a thing for him now even, but it's in my head a little bit. I wish if this game were at home, I'd just feel better about it. That said, like, how I feel about it doesn't really matter. He projects well and shake up DeGrom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Rangers side, you're talking splits. I mean, McGreevy, pretty wide splits. Lefties, he gets hit a lot harder against. I mean, he doesn't miss many bats from either side of the plate, but he keeps the ball on the ground against righties, struggles a bit against lefties. I wish they had more lefties in their order, but Jock, Nimmo, Osuna, Carter. I mean, Nicky Lopez is garbage. I don't need to play him, but can you get to some of these Rangers as just mini lefties?
Definitely you can. I had a buddy message me after who was watching when I talked about McGreevy and immediately said, "Are you high?" Because McGreevy stinks. I mean, he's not good. He's got like a 2-something ERA and close to a 6 expected ERA. Texas lefties look really good here. I wish they were better, and their lineup just is so mid, but they're in a good spot here. You know, in St. Louis against McGreevy. Like, I like picking on all these Cardinals pitchers who are all due for regression. Liberatore, who somehow had another good start last night. McGreevy, one other one I can't remember off the top of my head, but it'll come to me. So yeah, man, Texas looks good here. Probably more mini stacks for me. Josh Young, another guy who's been really, really good this year. He's playable on any slate right now. I like the Texas side, and then St. Louis is all about the leverage.
Moki, you can find Z Trivett 21 in the head-to-head lobby. I think I got 109s, 275 30s. If you want to play some Nicky Lopez, I would definitely appreciate that. Lefties look good.
Some head-to-heads if he's playing Nicky Lopez.
Yeah. Rangers lefties, though, I do like. Nades, I don't know if he was your friend texting you, but yeah, there you go. McGreevy sucks. Nades likes himself. Some lefties for the Rangers. We'll keep it rolling. We've talked about it a little bit, but the Angels and the Rockies. Kyle Freeland and Jose Soriano on the mound. Man, Kyle Freeland just usually it's at home, but he always gets picked on. Again, that's because the road team in Coors usually always gets ownership, and Freeland can navigate for the most parts. I mean, Mike Trout looks like an elite play right here. They look good in the hitter rankings, do the Angels. We've talked a lot about the Rockies. If there's anything else you want to say, it's direct leverage. They're low owned. Definitely tough for me to do outside of Coors Field, though. But, yeah, really curious to hear your take on the Angels and how they compare to a team like, I guess, the Twins, but more importantly, the Reds so far.
Yeah, the Rockies, there's not much more to say. They don't look good on paper, but you get the leverage against an over-owned Soriano because of how the slate plays out. Like, he's just going to be over-owned because there aren't other good pitchers and it's a small slate. So whenever you have slates like that, it puts the opposing offense in play. The Angels look really good on paper to me. This is a team you really don't want to play against right-handed pitching, but want to target against lefties. Freeland isn't a good lefty. I'm a little bit afraid of the Angels ownership, but again, we've got the Dodgers, the Royals, the Reds, the Angels, the Rangers. There are some good stacks on this slate. So not really worried about any of their ownerships because they all look good. And maybe I'll just play the lowest own when the dust settles. I love the Angels here. Go ahead.
Who do you think would be the lowest owned of that bunch? Talking the Angels, the Reds, and the Dodgers, the three highest implied runs.
The Angels, the Reds, and the Dodgers. I think that the Dodgers will be the highest owned of the group. And the Angels and Reds probably similarly owned. Like, the top of both of their lineups are going to get a lot of love. The bottoms won't get love. That's kind of how I see it here. Whereas the Dodgers probably get a decent amount of love 1 through 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I just say, I think I would go Dodgers and the Reds are close, and then I think the Angels would be third of the group. The thing with the Dodgers is like 1 through 5, you're paying for it, and if you want to play two spend up pitchers, the thing is you're paying for it, but you can still argue it's too cheap. And with these punt shortstops and cheap Royals and stuff, like you can still 5-man these teams and double spend at pitching. So, yeah, I mean, Angels righties look pretty solid. They're all, I mean, look at that projected order. All righties outside of Mike Trout and Neto at the top, they are completely free going down the order. If I was playing Dodgers, Angels, or the Reds, though, I would focus, assuming you're spending up at pitching and not getting too different there. I would definitely mix in some of the bottom of the order and low owned bats, though. I just wouldn't want to go 1 through 5, pair 2 of the chalky pitchers, and then figure it out after that. I think that'd be a little too chalky on this 7-game slate. Let's bring it to the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. Emmett Sheehan, Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound. Yeah, we've talked a good amount about these Dodgers. You were talking about Erod, though, at the pitching. You don't think you're really going to play him, but it sounds like you're respecting him enough to not have too many Dodgers. The D-backs, I think, pretty interesting. They've been playing good baseball, and they're expected to throw a good amount of lefties at Sheehan. I mean, Ketel Marte's been a complete beast. Corbin Carroll, you can play those two every single slate. They have all the upside in the world. They are expensive, but that'll only keep their ownership lower. So Dodgers and the D-backs.
Yeah, my thinking on Erod is just like, if I'm not playing the Dodgers, why not at least look at Erod? Because he's been good and he's cheap on a slate without really good pitching options. That said, he doesn't really strike anyone out. His underlying numbers aren't good. It's such a tough spot. Like, maybe he's just good enough where the Dodgers aren't great here, which is kind of what I'm hoping for. That said, the Dodgers are definitely in play for me. They look good here. They're expensive and they're getting ownership, and I like some of the other teams we've talked about, but they're always a team I'm worried about just nuking a slate, and tonight is no exception to that. Erod's fine, but like the Dodgers have the best lineup in baseball on the road here. Good hitting spot. They've got cheap guys to balance out the expensive guys. Undeniable how good the Dodgers look in this spot. I'm with you on the D-backs. I don't love them as a full stack, but I think like, yeah, Marte, Carroll, two guys you can always play, especially in a spot like this. And they're also a lot cheaper than the Dodgers. So yeah, I don't hate offense in this game. I
like the game.
The Dodgers are a tough fade, man. Like as much as I like some of the other teams, when you talk about like the Dodgers and the Royals, like, I mean, the Dodgers upside is just immensely higher, even in a tougher pitching matchup. Like it's the Dodgers.
Yeah. I mean, the Dodgers guaranteed 9th inning at bats. There's nothing bad to say about them against Erod. Their lineup's absolutely stacked. But for the D-back side, you want lefties against Sheehan. Again, I already talked about Marte, Carroll, Perdomo at shortstop. I mean, if you go Arenado to obviously a righty, but that's second base, third base, shortstop, outfield. It fills out a lot of onesie positions. You only, in a projected order, Pavin Smith and Vargas, both first base eligible. If you had to pick one between the two, there's a 900 savings. Do you have a lean on which one you'd go? Because I do think 5-manning D-backs is in play if you want to eat chalk at like a DeGrom, Soriano, 5 D-backs, then you will have some money left over. You can get to Sheehan with these lefties. I think this is an interesting game stack on both sides, but Smith and Vargas, assuming they're both in the lineup, would you have a lean there?
Yeah, Smith for sure. I didn't even realize he was back. What's he coming back tonight? Yeah. Cool. So yeah, going to be Pavin Smith, how cheap is he on DK?
3,200.
Yeah, and Vargas is like kind of pricey, right? He's like
41.
Okay,
yeah.
So $1,000 difference. I think Smith has more power. Vargas is like a utility guy that's like a 3K hitter that had the best month of his career at the start of the season. So he's still overpriced, even though it's starting to come down. Like, give me Pavin Smith. It's not like I'm that high on Smith, but he's at least got power.
Yeah. 3,200 is really cheap, too. Talk about months. Jarren Duran, and Ronald Acuna, man, those guys are seeing beach balls out there, that's for sure. There also is a min price Tommy Troy all the way in the 9 hole, just another min price guy, multiple on this slate that you can't get to. On the other side, for the Dodgers, Santiago Espinal, second base, third base eligible. Also Miguel Rojas, second base shortstop eligible. 6, 7, 8, 9, all 3K or below, and can fill out some positions there for the Dodgers if you want a 5-man stack it to make it a little cheaper. But with that being said, they are all getting ownership, all 3 of them below, because people are on the same page. If they are playing Ohtani, Pajes, Freeman, and then paying up at pitcher, you do need salary relief there, and people will go to some of those cheaper guys down below. But we got one game left on the slate, the New York Mets and the Seattle Mariners. Sean Manaea, Emerson Hancock on the mound. You can see, not many, you don't get too many big totals when you're out playing out in Seattle. Definitely holds true today. Hancock going to get some ownership. The Mets, I've hardly played him all year. You can play Juan Soto if you want, but he's 6.3K. I don't see myself getting to him or this team for the most part. Mariners against Manaea. Julio Rodriguez, we talked about it Friday too. I believe he did go deep. The price has finally gone up from 4.5K. It feels tough, 5-man stack in this team. I always do love Mitch Garver, though. He's only 3.2K, fills out a catcher spot, but offenses will be very low owned in this game. Will you have any?
Probably not. I will say you could have thrown Soto in with that Acuna and Jarren Duran because he's on fire also. I don't think Hancock is that great. He's another guy due for regression, but that's more like I don't really want to play him than stack the Mets in Seattle against a competent pitcher. Good enough bullpen. Nah, I'm good there. Seattle, I guess, against Manaea, nah. I think pieces of them you could get to, but what is that? I'm hearing a weird noise. It must be something.
It's on it's a weed whacker my neighbors are doing. So you can hear that.
Oh, okay. I was like, is that something? I was like closing all my tabs. I'm like, okay, cool. Glad to know it's not on my end. Yeah, I feel like the Mariners pieces, Julio, another guy, could have mentioned him in that Soto group, like one-offs here because it's a really good hitter. Soto, J-Rod, not full stacks for me.
Yeah, I muted myself and unmuted. I was like, come on, I hope this mic's not picking that up. And of course, somehow it is. But we're about on our way out. Just do want to share this tab if you're getting in late. Again, this is our Ship It Nation homepage. You can see the deal up above like we talked about earlier. Usually $99 for the first month. Now $49. You get SaberSim, Discord, NBA, PGA, all the sports. But NBA, PGA, MLB, MMA, NASCAR, and NHL all still going on. That is a lot of sports. And SaberSim and Discord for a low price. If you want to look at other deals, join the nation. You can see other 5 days for $19. If you want to give us a try, that also includes SaberSim, Discord, and all of these sports. But I didn't mention earlier, if you are just playing MLB, we do have single sport options as well. Single sport MLB, less than $1 a day. You can get in the multiple slates, a lot of different days for MLB. It's in every single day. Only $29. Again, less than $1 a day. You cannot beat that deal for all of our content. And the MLB Discord, only $20 more, does get you SaberSim access as well as part of all of our content. And yeah, SaberSim doesn't even offer single sports monthly packages there, so you cannot even find that on their website. If you are playing MLB only for the summer, you cannot beat this deal, and it only gets better if you do sign up for the annual. Everyone loves talking home run calls. Like I don't give out home runs. I can think of one. I'll just be spitballing though. If you want to come up with a home run play, it's not my forte. It's not like I think all the home run props are completely terrible. Like they should be. If it's plus 230, it should be like plus 390 or something. They're all juiced to the max. And I don't build MLB DFS lineups thinking about home runs. If you want to mention one though, I will find one myself, but take it with a grain of salt. That is not for me. Ham the man though, I will say. Hamwich is someone I would look at. He dives deep into those, and he hit a big parlay last year and almost did this year. But, yeah, do you want to say anything for the home runs?
Yeah, that is refreshing because that's how I feel. But, most people love just, like you said, love the home run calls and stuff. It's not something that I really wager on ever. But obviously,
I'll say Jock Peterson. There you go. I'll say Big Jock. Yeah, it's either a strikeout or a homer for the most part, but McGreevy gets hit against lefties, so that'll be mine.
We'll go Isaac Collins, 5-hole for the Royals.
Ooh.
I always like to go out, a little bit outside the box because why not, right? Like
exactly. If you're gonna do it, you can find Matt's core, and again, I don't think building just by chords is the way to do, but I do think looking at sharp people like Matt, plays in the high dollar stuff, you again can find that in the MLB Slate station when it gets updated, like the cash core, and that's updated. It'll say title DK cash, and that'll show the updated there, and it'll say M Belman DK1, M Belman DK2, FanDuel's over here, and again, all this gets updated throughout when lineups do come in. Any other final thoughts before we get on out of here?
No, should be a fun slate.
Absolutely. Man, a few words. No, great stuff as always, Matt. It was great talking multiple sports. We talked some NFL. We talked a little NBA, some MLB, a lot of good stuff around. Again, we'd love to have you at The Nation. ShipANation.com. You can find all of those deals. We are going to get on out of here. Hope everybody has a great night. We will be back tomorrow. For Matt, I'm Tidal. Good luck. Be safe. Peace.